pre-ordered was Elden Ring, and of course that one was wonderful. I mean, in every way. So I got lucky with that. But
Now, what was Elden Ring about? Now we're live. Now, what was Elden Ring about?
Elden Ring's a From Software game, so it's the same in the same lines of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, like all those.
Bring Daddy his phone, please. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I
Yeah.
didn't play Dark Souls a lot. Like I don't play stuff if it's really really hard.
Oh yeah.
How much Dark Souls do you play?
Oh,
How do you
I've platinumed every
Oh,
single one.
okay.
Yeah, it's I have tattoos that are in reference
Okay,
to
all right.
Dark Souls.
So,
So,
what's your phone number again, right quick, for the spa?
oh crap, I don't know. Hold on.
Yeah, no rush. We're good. We got hour and a half, whatever.
Well,
However we go, we are good.
well, I got a new phone
I'm just gonna-
recently.
I get. Why is it so hard to learn a new phone number?
I don't know. I've had the same one for years, and so it's kind of a learning thing. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 423-255-3178.
7, 8.
Yeah.
So wait. And see, like, and you share this around. The more you share it around, the better, because like it's just at the bottom of the screen,
Oh yeah.
the phone number and everything and all that. And I think that's awesome. How
Yeah.
did you get into video games?
Well, honestly, ever since I could remember, I was playing like as early as like 3 years old. I was playing Ocarina of Time
Yeah.
on N64. It was my uncle's Nintendo 64, and I couldn't get past like the first area, like the Deku Tree or whatever.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've just been a huge gamer. That's all I've ever done
The
in my
first
free
game was
time.
Zelda.
Oh yeah.
My
Yeah.
first game that I remember really playing was Final Fantasy VII. And
Oh, yeah.
like ever since then, I've been on it. Give me 1 second. Hey, we're busy handling. You know, we're talking. Handle this. Turn the TV down a little bit. Y'all whisper and be polite. Love you. Parenting. They're like, hey, y'all, he beat him. He beat him on the internet. Well, no, I asked him very politely to sit down. But now, so I think Legend of Zelda. Now, I didn't never get into Legend of Zelda. I've played a few and stuff like that, but I just didn't super get into it.
Yeah.
But looking back, the one time I did play it on the Nintendo 64, it was so pretty and huge.
Oh yeah.
And massive. And which is cool for its time, for
Oh,
sure.
for sure. Yeah.
But I thought stories were better then, too. Why do you think everyone's so intent on the games being pretty now, but they suck?
Oh, well, I think it is just kind of one of those things where they're advertising the flashy looks of the game, and the prettier it is, the more eye-catching it is, obviously, so people are gonna want to buy it.
Yeah.
And that that's when they kind of put storytelling in the background, because they're like graphics
I agree.
bigger. I would even say the same unpopular opinion about the Breath of the Wild and the new one.
Does it look good?
It looks amazing,
Doesn't
but
seem
it
very
just
fun.
doesn't have the same magic, I guess, that
There's no nostalgia to that.
there's no nostalgia.
No
No.
kids are gonna play that 20 years from now. But dude, this is a classic. Hey, y'all do me a favor. Hey, cut that TV off. Go watch TV in Daddy's room, okay? Do that. Because I said turn it down, and they're like, dude, I'm cranking it up to 90. I can hear it.
Kids, for sure.
Dude, they're insane. They're such good kids. They're
Oh,
so
yeah.
sweet. We had a podcast last night. We was watching fights and stuff. And there's been times like we've got on here and done like 6 hours. It's really depends on how early we get on.
Yeah.
Because like prelims will start at 6. But Connor, she's pretty stoked about getting on and getting to do her thing.
Aww.
And I think that's gonna be neat. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
So after Zelda, like again, I know we're supposed to talk about your business, and we're super gonna do that because I think it's so important.
Hey, it's chill.
Yeah,
Talk about
yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah, man.
so.
For people to like get to know you and
Yeah.
stuff, I think that's cool. So where'd you go to after Zelda? What was next for you? What was that at?
My earliest memory, I believe it was Spider-Man for the N64. That was I'm pretty sure that was the second game I ever played. And of course I couldn't beat that either because I was like 4.
It was so hard for us to beat games as kids.
And and obviously, the N64 remote,
It
like
was
how do you
terrible.
even hold
It was
that?
really bad.
My tiny hands, toddler. But after that, I was really like, I started getting more into Nintendo stuff, like Mario, more Zelda, and increasingly from that, got a PlayStation, and I started getting my PlayStation 1. Started getting, I loved Crash Bandicoot. That was like my favorite. I would just play it over and over and over.
I was Spyro.
Of course, and of course I bought the remake.
Yes, had
Obviously.
to. Spyro had so
You
much
know.
attitude.
Oh yes, of
He's
course.
winking at people. He's fire here and there. He was tackling sheep. Spyro was for me a huge part of my childhood, man.
Isn't he voiced by Tom Kenny?
I don't know that it's Tom Kenny. I think it's the guy from Lord of the Rings, ain't it?
Oh, crap. His name is Frodo.
Hey, baby.
Elijah Wood.
I think it's Elijah Wood. Maybe not every
I'm
time.
about to look it up.
I
Hold
know
on.
at least a few times it's Elijah Wood. For sure. Every time, I don't know. But, man, such a huge part of my childhood. I remember playing Ripto's Rage as a kid, and it was just couldn't beat it for anything because, as
it
a
is
kid,
Tom Kenny. It's Tom Kenny.
Now, who is Tom Kenny?
He's the one that plays he's a big voice actor, but he plays SpongeBob.
Okay, that's cool.
And like, Adventure Time and all that other stuff.
Adventure Time's actually super trippy to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love watching Adventure Time. I like BMO.
Oh yeah.
I seen an episode one time. He's like, what were they doing? I think they were resetting him. And he was like, "Oh yes, twist it." And it's
it's like,
maybe don't.
Yeah, maybe don't twist that for the
Mom,
kids.
You're hitting crazy buttons on the remote. You're on my TV right now, not the kids.
We're about to watch Talented Kids.
Yeah, we don't want to watch Talented Kids. So you did play a lot of video games, which is very cool, I think. Did you keep playing video games in school? Like you're pretty late, and I mean that as respectfully as possible. You've been super jacked at times in life, sometimes not super jacked. Always pretty and very polite.
Oh, thank you.
So did you keep playing video games in high school or just school in general? Or did that kind of taper off and you went to sports? Or
I was full dive into sports. But I never like I probably played every sport you could think of. I tried everything. I was very active as a kid, and which is funny because you wouldn't think of a gamer to be active at the same time. But every day after practice, that's what I would do. I'd play games after practice.
Chill out.
It was it's always been my stress reliever, and obviously I've been told you're gonna grow out of it, whatever. But never did.
Never.
My
great granddad told me, and this is a quote. He said, "That shit," and that's a quote. He said, "That shit'll melt your GD brain." And I said, "Well, I don't think so. I know this isn't real, Papa."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "It's going to melt your brain." And, I'm sure my brain's not the best brain,
but
I don't think, maybe as a kid.
I didn't mean to agree. Yeah.
Maybe as a kid, I thought I was going to get to kill some monsters and make some money. But, I've never once as an adult been like, man, this is a video game. No, Papa, I know what's going on. But that was his quote. I think it's great for hand-eye coordination. It helped me learn to read.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about RPGs earlier. That's what I like. I like to read a book. I like to read Harry Potter. I like to read stuff that's fun and interesting, and not, hey man, you're going to the factory tomorrow, buddy. And
oh
no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Anything that's different, And because of that, I'd play those video games. Well, back in the 90s, 80s, and when I wasn't alive in the 80s, but in the 90s, when it was mostly you had to read it.
Yes.
And so I had to learn to read, and I did. And then I think it helped so much more kids if they would play some video games like that where they have to read it instead of someone telling them.
Oh yeah.
Things.
About every game I played back in the day, it was just text. And Zelda is notorious for that. I mean, they never had voice acting until recently, really.
Listen.
Yeah. That's all.
That's one.
That's all. Yeah. And oh my goodness. Yeah. Everybody can complain about that. I remember. But I am, I was born in 97. So, I was just on the, brink of the turn of the century and everything. And
you got to see it grow. It's been a very cool thing to watch.
Oh yeah. And it's definitely been an insane change from when the video games that I grew up with compared to now. And I still do enjoy new games now. But I will, like we were just talking about, a lot of it has lost a lot of the magic.
So much.
And I can put that to nostalgia a little bit.
A little.
But I think most people can agree that it is more of a money-making thing now.
Yeah.
It's so much more popular than it used to be.
Last time you were here, I was playing Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
And I was and this is to your nostalgia, I was super against it. I was telling my brother, man, this game's garbage. This is crap. This is terrible. And then I went back and I tried to play the old Resident Evil 4. And no. The new one's really good.
Yeah.
Man. It's so good.
Yeah.
You can block stuff with your knife. You can, have all sorts of weapons.
Yeah.
it was just so much better. Leon's hair, he needs to speak to your manager immediately.
yes, the Karen hair.
Yeah, which is great. We'll let him do that.
And
But so such a better game. If every game would match that, it would be great. But it's not like that. I played Resident Evil 7.
mhm.
That's not. Is that Village?
7 is Village. No.
8 is Village.
8 is Village. 7 is Biohazard.
7 for me. The first half of 7 was the greatest video game that I've played. As far as a horror game,
it's so scary
in
too.
my life. That first half,
so good.
But you remember the second half?
Mhm.
They're like, "Hey, we got goo monsters."
Yes.
and now you got to blow up lady with the rocket launcher. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
it's
man,
like-
y'all did so good. I felt like I was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I know.
And
And it
then
was
they dropped
so suspenseful. Had you on the edge of your seat the whole time. You had no idea what was going on.
Here comes
And
Jack.
yes,
Ah.
yes, crazy.
I feel like they dropped the ball on that because that could have been one of the greatest games of all time.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I already told you Final Fantasy 16 is awful.
Mm,
If you decide
so
to
disappointing.
start and play it or something, like, if I could let you borrow it, I would. I just got digital, but I would not recommend anyone buy that game.
Listen, the first piece of advice I would get would be from a Final Fantasy fan.
I could
So
not recommend buying it at
and
all.
I was late to the party. I was not a Final Fantasy fan back in the day. I just didn't have the games. But my first exposure to Final Fantasy was 10.
Yeah. And that's
last year.
Favorite. That's so many people's favorite one. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a good love story.
Oh yeah.
How did you find it? What was that? What was that like?
Free on PS Plus,
All right,
and I got it, and I was just in the mood for something very not old. I wouldn't say that it was old, I guess, but it just kind of more
Classic
retro,
RPG,
I guess.
enjoy this.
Yes, and at first I was making fun of it. Obviously, the voice acting's awful.
very bad.
It's terrible. The narrative's awful.
Yes.
The characters, meh, But the more I was playing it, the more I just found myself having so much fun, doing
Yes.
all these, all the different, putting together different characters for the battles and everything. And I was so into it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it makes me feel like a kid.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's the good stuff. I think that's, if we can get more of that at video games, because dude, I'm 30 all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm 30 all the time, man. I thought Riku was hot when I was young, super hot when I was young, and now I can't find her hot.
Oh yeah. Which
she's
is normal.
young. And so I'm just like, well, that's weird, man.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is.
strange thing.
It
And now
is.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu's
Lulu now.
Lulu's pretty all right. She is as an adult, she is pretty okay. And I don't know why they decided to hang the bosoms out, but they did it.
That's Final Fantasy for you,
Yeah,
and they've
it was
always
awesome.
done it.
They're gonna put it in your face a little bit. And I went to speaking of getting older, man, we went to Nashville a while back, and I went with my brother and a couple of buddies, and I thought that there was gonna be people my age there
Mhm.
enjoying the town. I took my
Yeah.
camera. That's the main reason I went, was to get footage, and they wouldn't let me take my camera in anywhere.
Yeah,
Phones were fine, but not your nice camera. So that
Mhm.
was strange.
that is weird.
But every person I saw was like, man, they look like Kira's age. And I was just like, oh, this is weird. I'm old, and you guys are not old at all. Now, we
Oh
would
my goodness.
see some old people drunk and passed out on the street. I wasn't there for that,
Yeah, yeah.
And so that was insane. So you said you played all the sports. Which one was your favorite? Which one really stuck with you? Was there any opportunity of, man, I might be getting to play a little higher up, anything? Or
Track. That
Okay.
was the thing that really stuck with me. I started out doing. I tried every sport, and
Nothing
I
wrong
even
with that
did.
at
I
all.
even did dance. I was in 16 musicals. I did. I did all that kind of stuff. And the one that really stuck with me, I did every year, was track, and I was a sprinter. So I did my expertise, I guess, was the 400-meter dash.
Rucking
And
it, son.
yes,
Okay.
and I was fast for my age range back then. I did break a record at
Alright.
my high
All
school.
right, where'd you go to high school?
Chattanooga Christian.
That is so cool.
Yes.
All right.
But towards the end, I had some family stuff that went on, kind of went down, and I started living full time with my mother,
Okay.
and she lives out here. She lives in Bryant. So that's when I started going to North Sand Mountain, my senior year of high school.
My wife went.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's where I met my husband, Hunter,
Okay.
and I didn't really care about sports at that point. I
Because
didn't.
Hunter was just so fine.
Oh, of course. I was
Oh,
just
yeah. He
head over
was so
heels for
cool.
him,
So how did you meet Hunter then? What was that? I get it, like it was at school or whatever, but
Yeah.
y'all were at lunch, PE. Was it immediate like, oh man, we're gonna be together forever because y'all been together for a minute?
Oh yeah.
What was
yeah.
that like? Give me some of that.
Well, at first it was more like, damn, that guy's cute.
Okay.
Like that kind of thing. Oh, he's gonna hear this.
Oh,
yeah.
that's gonna be big.
Oh yeah. And funny story. We were reading Macbeth in English class because that was the class he was in there with
Love
me.
English, by the way.
Me too.
Love
favorite
literature.
subject.
It's wonderful.
He not to him. He hates it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh yeah. But we were reading Macbeth and we had to take turns reading, and he had been sick. He had his spleen almost rupture on him, and so I didn't meet him until about 2 weeks into school starting because he was in and out of the hospital. And he was big in football and stuff, so he had to take a lot of resting for that. Well, he came in and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who anybody was really because I was new. Small town, small school, very different from where I came from.
Yeah.
Huge culture shock. I came from a Christian school that's private. So it was like all of a sudden people were telling me how they think to my face and not behind my back. You know what I mean? So, which I actually liked. It was a good culture shock. It was very refreshing. But, he was in there and we were reading in a circle and he was playing the role of Ross in the story. And I was not paying attention. And the English teacher, she goes, "All right, Ross, go ahead." So I thought his name was Ross for the first 3 months of school almost.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Ross is a cutie, but hey, man.
And his name is Hunter. So it's like, that was weird. And slowly, I started becoming friends with his sister, Hope. She was one of the first people that reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you're new, hang out with me,"
Very cool.
Which was very awesome. I was very shy.
People don't do that all the time.
I would have never taken an opportunity like this at that age.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Very shy, never spoke,
I took multiple zeros in school because I didn't want to read in front of people.
Hey, there you go.
I couldn't do it.
See, I feel that very much. That is very, very relatable.
Okay.
But anyway, she essentially, long story short, I told her that I thought Ross was cute, and she was like, "Who's Ross?" And I was like, "That guy." And she was like, "First of all, that's my brother.
Yeah, but
second of all, that's not his name.
His name's Hunter."
And and I was like, "That's so embarrassing."
Well, how would I know?
Yeah, well, yeah. But she essentially, we exchanged Snapchats. Me and Hope did, and
I'm listening to you while you go. I'm just.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. And eventually, I was sending her Snapchats about, like, I know if my mom hears this, stuff I wanted to do to Hunter. And
this is his sister.
And this is his sister.
Oh goodness.
Because she would make fun of me about it.
Yeah.
And she showed him the Snapchat that I sent her.
And he was interested.
And he was like, "All right,
Yeah,
let me DM her."
We can do that.
So, which was very strange. But he essentially, we went through this, like, I guess, awkward talking phase, and then
it's always terrible.
Oh God,
you can't poot in front of each other, and you can't eat.
No labels. It was like very strange.
Don't fart.
He yes, don't.
Don't.
And I did not for the first 2 years of our of our relationship. I was too scared. Yeah, just like hold it in.
I gotta go to the restroom.
Where it like materializes back in your body.
Yeah,
it's
like,
but yeah, not to go on for too long, but he the funny part was he was not very good at communicating, and I had no idea he was actually into me. And he said, "Listen, I know you like me, so let's go on a date." And I was like, "That's romantic." So
Thanks.
So do you like me too? Or like, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I do." And I'm like, "Okay,
you're
cool.
So pretty."
Yeah. And
I don't know you yet. You don't
it's
know
like,
me.
it's so weird.
I'm listening. Keep going.
Oh yeah, you're good. We went on a date. And then from there, it just we've been inseparable pretty much ever since. He's my best friend. We've been together this October will be 8 years together.
That's awesome. Just me meeting him, he's always seemed very nice. Now I only met him, I think, the once, maybe twice, but as far as I'm aware of, the one time, and he just was I'm
Yeah.
playing my video game, and he's just like, dude, this is cool. I was like, thanks, man. He's cool. He
He's
seems like a nice
super
guy.
chill, and he's like, I mean, he's like my rock. You know, I've struggled with anxiety.
It's so hard.
It's so bad, and he's always been so chill, so like everything's gonna be okay, you know, and we kind of balance each other out very well with that.
He does seem kind of. I get kind of a wild energy from him. Am I wrong?
You're not.
Okay,
he can be like that. Yes,
that's good. That's
it is.
right.
It is,
Yeah.
and he's very sorry, Hunter. He's very closed off and very chill, but he definitely has a wild side about him.
I can
you
see
know,
it. I can see a little bit. It's the eyes. I think he's kind of like he's always kind of got like a. It's a say to cuss, but he's got like a shit-eating grin on his face. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like nothing happened at all. And he's like,
oh, he's
but-
he's up to something.
but it might.
he's always up to something, man.
Oh, we sound
like
good. We sound like money on there.
yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a super nice guy. So, I do think we should eat food sometime, break some bread. I think that would be great. I
Oh, yeah.
enjoy to hang out. We're always busy. I know you're always busy. Speaking of anxiety, you have a ton of pets. Have you always had? I mean, you have a few pets. I don't know how many. I'm not watching your.
Oh, we
Facebook.
have a ton. Yeah.
So, do those help some with anxiety? You think? or-
Oh, absolutely. I've always loved animals, obviously, or else I wouldn't have gone into this kind of work as a dog groomer. But like growing up, we had outside dogs only, so I would just spend every waking moment I could outside with the dogs. I
Yeah.
loved dogs, cats, any animal. And when I moved out, I took our family dog with us or with me, and his name's Bucky. He's 7 this year,
Oh.
and he is wonderful. He is my absolute best friend. And
You keep going.
he from there, we figured he was lonely, so we went to the shelter, and we found this very sweet abused 3-year-old dog we named her Pixel, and she
That's how I got Willie. Was from a lady watching.
oh yeah and essentially, from there they became friends, and they were buddies, and then we bought our house from there, and we just kept getting more. So at this point now we have 4 dogs
Okay.
and 3 cats. We also have a snake.
I couldn't do it. I don't mind a snake. I just couldn't have it in the house. I'd freak out.
Well, the snake was Hunter's idea. He loves snakes. He loves reptiles. I think they're cool. It's really his pet, though, I would say. He really feeds her and stuff. But we named her Nagini after
That's
Harry
cool.
Potter.
That's very cool.
She looks like her, and she's very cool. She's a ball python.
Okay.
And then we have the 3 cats. I named them after Mario characters. So, Yoshi, Boo, and Koopa Troopa.
All right. That's
Yeah.
cute, man.
So, and then my other 2 dogs, I have altogether would be Bucky, Pixel, Django, and
Django.
and Neo. Neo's the newest. He's our standard poodle.
Neil or Neo?
Neo,
Like
like
from
the
The Matrix?
like the Matrix.
Oh,
yes.
Matrix is so cool,
Yeah,
though, man.
yeah.
Do you remember so you remember when the Matrix came out and they had the Matrix Gatorades?
Oh my gosh!
I didn't
yes.
get to try the Matrix Gatorade.
And I bet somebody has them.
You can find them on
somewhere.
eBay. I've looked.
Oh my
but I don't
gosh!
have
I
any
bet
money.
they're worth so
I
much.
bet like $4. They're like,
Oh.
oh, that's $100. I'm like, have 4.
It's like 4.
Put it
Take
up-
it or leave it.
Put
You
it
know.
up for bid. you know?
yeah.
And I might get it. But I thought that was so cool. There's so many people in my life that I've ended up calling Agent Smith. I had a boss at Cook's Pest Control and worked there.
Mhm.
Scott Jones is his real name. He actually ended up marrying me and my wife together. I didn't really give him the best quitting when I
yeah.
quit, you know,
yeah.
considering how good he was to me and my family. But he would always wear. He had the same hairline, right here.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
in black and a little gray,
Mhm.
and he'd wear the dark sunglasses all the time, and he
Oh my
would talk like
gosh.
that. And he wouldn't call me Sam. He would Mr. McAlpin,
Oh my
and I was like,
gosh.
"Do you watch The Matrix?" He's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
you're
so you're not doing that on purpose.
yeah,
like,
this is just
this
you."
is-
And he was like that just all the time, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I had a coach, Jeff Powell. Now I've exchanged their phone numbers in my phone. And then I had a kickboxing coach, Jeff Powell. And like I'll act like
Sorry.
I can do stuff really good and whatnot, and like how you, it's not hard to stay humble. That's wrong. People get a false sense of what they really can do in their head, and like I've been humbled more than a few times, and there's been times where like I'd try to punch Jeff and he would just move, and like I'm like trying pretty hard to hit him really hard, and because like he'll hit me really hard.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I was trying to deck his schnoz,
Mhm.
and he'd just move. So and he can kick us in the head, and like he's Bambi legged me. He's really a stud of a person. So I ended up putting him as Agent Smith. Doesn't look like him, doesn't sound like him, but like if you're moving like that,
Oh, yeah.
you've probably got something
Oh,
going on in
yeah.
the Matrix.
Some kind of secret thing.
Did you
going
like the
on.
new one so much?
I haven't seen it.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
They didn't get the real Morpheus, which is
Oh.
weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
They didn't get anyone real except Trinity and
Mhm.
Neo, but I felt they should have kept Morpheus. I thought he did a great
Oh,
job.
that sucks that they didn't keep him. But the first one, I grew up on that one, so I've loved the first one.
I
But
love watching.
I didn't even see the second or third one until later. I mean, maybe like a couple of years back or something like that.
I wish it was cool to dress like that, but like it's really
It's
not.
You would be made fun of.
You're a weird dude.
But
yeah,
I
you would.
mean, at the same time, who cares?
Yeah, dress how you want to dress.
Exactly.
Man.
I mean, it'd be
dig it.
hot in this weather, I would say.
Terrible.
But
Terribly unbearable. So speaking of bullying and stuff, in high school, did you see any of that? Do you think it was worse then, or is it worse now?
Well, I can't really say if it's worse then or
You
now.
didn't bully
I know. I don't think I bullied anybody.
That's cool. didn't
But
figure
mostly
you
because
did.
I was the the one that was bullied.
I got bullied some too, but now in turn, once I
Um,
got a little bigger and meaner, I was like, I bully y'all now, and I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done it.
Now I will say this: at Chattanooga Christian CCS, there wasn't like a label, or it wasn't straight bullying. I would say it was more girls being mean to each other behind each other's backs,
Girls are
and the
mean.
guys never really messed with each other. There were, I guess, cliques, as you
Yeah.
would say, but very vague cliques. I felt like I was kind of the outsider of my friend group, I guess.
Well, it's hard when you move.
It is. And and I didn't have any girl friends that shared interests with me. So I would kind of put on a fake persona. But when it comes down to it, I when I went to North Sand Mountain, I actually found out that there was way more physical bullying at a public school than there was at a private school.
Oh, no
way
doubt.
more,
No doubt.
which was crazy to me because I grew up. I know this is gonna sound really privileged, but I grew up thinking that was just a thing in movies. Like I didn't think that was a real form of bullying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I knew people talk about each other.
Yeah.
Cyberbullying and everything
You didn't
too.
think really someone would beat
Like
up somebody
yeah,
in school.
exactly. But
Yeah.
I witnessed it several times.
I
Even
was
as
that
a
guy.
senior.
I was that guy getting beat up a few times in school.
Oh.
After boot camp, I got mean. I was like, y'all are gonna hate me now,
Mm.
and I made sure they did. But I was just bullying everybody then. So it's like, what? You're the bad guy too.
Yeah.
And but I was the guy getting picked on and bullied, man. It was awful. But then like once I got, it sounds awful, but I got kind of cool after I got in trouble.
Yeah.
I got really cool. Like
Yeah.
there was this girl I had a crush on, and I thought she was really pretty, and she was out of my league realistically. I wasn't always. I don't want to sound like a terrible person, but when I was dating,
Mhm.
I've always dated kind of out of my league, and I don't mean to be that way. It's just how I was as a person. Like even now with my wife, she's insanely beautiful.
She is very beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm just this fat turd.
Oh my
you know?
gosh.
And I'm like,
I think you're hard on yourself
I
for
wi-
sure.
I just wish I had. I appreciate that. Compliment. I wish I had been nicer when dating and stuff, and because in high school you don't think about anything, and I wish I had been much nicer to a lot of people, my wife included. Sometimes I'm back in the past. I've been doing really good lately. I'm so proud of that. I wanna be a good husband, be a good dad,
Yeah.
and been getting me some God lately, and I'm loving that.
Oh,
and
good.
I'm trying to do everything right. I don't remember why that came up, but it did come up, and I said it. Brownie points for me.
Yay.
Oh yeah, so I remember. So I got in really bad trouble at Otter, and it was a big enough deal that I was in handcuffs, like in front of the school in a chair.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, lucky me, man. The bell rang, and everyone came out at the same time. So
Mhm.
they're gonna look, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna talk
Exactly,
about it. So I'm
exactly.
sitting here in handcuffs, and they're all like, "Hey man, you good, brother?" Yeah, all this stuff. Well, this girl come up to me that I had been talking to at the time. Not talking to at all, just trying to hint like, "Hey, I think you're pretty."
Yeah.
And she didn't even say anything to me because again, we weren't having conversations,
Mhm.
but it was the cool thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So she walked up to me and she kissed me in front of
Wow.
everyone, and I was
You got your movie moment.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
But like looking back, why do you want to hang out with that loser cat? You know what I mean? That like it was just cool for a second. And I wish I hadn't been that kid. And if my girls, they'll date one day, I understand that.
Mhm.
And if they ever bring someone home that even gives me a slight inkling that they're like I was as a teenager,
Mhm.
I'll fight their dad.
There you go.
I'll fight their dad, and that kid will leave. You can't be here, sir. So after high school, you started working, or did you go straight to college?
Well, I went straight to college and started working.
All right.
So, I did not work in high school. I'm very privileged and very blessed to say that my parents didn't make me work when I was 16 or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So, I lived with them still, and I went to Northeast just to do my community college stuff. I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do. My whole high school life, I wanted to go into film. And that was the thing I was kind of focusing on, but at the same time I was like looking at all these universities and being like, I can't afford any of that, and I'm not getting a full ride to anything because I had terrible grades. So
It happens.
and it wasn't because I was dumb or anything, but I really didn't care about grades in high school.
Yeah.
I
don't think you seem
I
dumb
mean-
ever. Any conversation I've had with you, you seem coherent
Well,
and well
thank
spoken.
you.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
I did feel dumb when I went to private school because I did go to school with a bunch of people who were very, very smart,
Incredibly smart.
very smart, and that prepared me for college for sure. Because when I went to Northeast, everything seemed very easy to me,
That's
and I
good.
think that was because I was prepared, by doing these like 4-hour long exam essays at CCS, and just excessive, just grind. And then when I went to North Sand Mountain, not saying that North Sand Mountain isn't a credible school, but I felt
It's
like
just
I wasn't
different
doing
level,
anything.
different
Yes.
level of stuff.
I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I was in a class where people complained about doing a 5-paragraph essay when that was like every other day.
That's a
I had to
warm-up.
do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but not to get off track, but I went to college, and I worked at the cafe inside the college
Very
at the
cool.
time.
I might have seen you sometime. I bet.
You might
I don't
have.
know. We might have. I was going for a little bit. Keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, because we're you said you're 30. So
Yeah, thank
yeah, just to bring that up again.
Thanks,
I
Hannah.
will be 26 in August.
Oh, so your back
So-
feels good, knees feel good.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, they feel better than mine. They feel better than mine.
I don't have kids or anything,
Mm.
so but I do pick up dogs on the daily.
I
That
did
does
not.
hurt my back.
I bet I can see that. I can see that.
But yeah, I worked at that coffee. It was like maybe a little cafe, coffee, little snack area, and loved it. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I'm a big coffee drinker and a big kind of a coffee connoisseur.
I love
So
coffee.
I was into the whole like doing all these like crazy combinations and
Pinky up.
oh yeah, pinky
Okay,
up,
fine,
pinky
I
up.
dig it.
Teas, name it, but didn't make any money doing that. I mean, it was hardly anything.
Hard to make money doing things you love. It
yeah.
shouldn't be.
Oh, I know it
Shouldn't
sucks.
be.
It sucks, but just going through the motions in college, and then I went through, and then I started working at Little Caesars in
Yeah.
Trenton.
Okay.
They promoted me to manager, not general manager, but it was like a shift manager there. And I was pretty young. I was like 19.
Yeah.
And I actually liked working there too.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I met people there that are still my friends now, kind of,
Cool, very cool.
And it was a fun time. Didn't make money still, but it was a fun time. And Hunter actually started working there with me.
Perfect.
And it was a test kind of to see how we worked together.
Yeah. Okay.
Never had a problem. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
it was awesome because we just never, you know how couples do when they work together. It's like they tell you shouldn't because it can, y'all can bring your dirty laundry up at work and everything
Yeah.
like that. But we really didn't have a problem. We never really had a fight or anything. So
Me and Vicky are cats and dogs.
oh yeah.
But she's incredibly stubborn, and we're gonna get back on track in just a second.
Oh yeah.
But it's important that while I have the platform, that the world knows she's very stubborn. She's incredibly stubborn, and the problem comes in, I think, because I'm also stubborn. And like, if I win an argument, you know me as a person.
Mhm.
If I get a leg up on the argument, I'm gonna get 6 legs up, son. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
keep going, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
shouldn't be that way. And just being around two stubborn people. You're gonna argue some.
Mhm.
Used to be a lot worse, but she's tried really hard to put up with me. I know that can't be easy. I've tried to put up with her, and it's not easy at all. And no, it's cool. And like, she's always around them babies. They don't give her no breathing room. Like you heard them earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's insane. It's not.
I genuinely cannot understand. So like, and I hope I never will.
she is a saint. She just deals with them.
Yeah.
She don't really whoop them. She don't really have to get onto them too crazy, And I think that's partly why I do have to whoop them some, because I'm like, man, y'all gonna mind your mama. I ain't gonna, like, I stress her enough. Y'all ain't gonna do it too.
Yeah.
And I don't know how she does it. So y'all ended up getting to work together. What brought about the never having kids? What is that?
It was just something we discussed kind of early on. Well, not too early. It was when we started getting serious. We were about 1.5 years in, I guess, and talking about it. We were talking about marriage didn't come until 3 years later, but we were kind of thinking about it. We were graduating high school, thinking about if we were going to move in together and everything. And
that's cool.
And the topic of kids came up, and I don't even remember how the conversation went. I think it was one of those things where it was like passing conversation. Every now and then we would give our opinion about it, and so we kind of realized we agreed. And me and Hunter and I wouldn't say we don't like kids, because I mean I think kids are super fun. I love watching them learn, and I love watching them like do their own thing, be in their own world. There's something so like magical about being a kid, and you can definitely see it whenever you look at another kid. But and very, very big butt, huge butt. We have come to the decision that we, as of right now, will never actually want to have one. And I think it's mostly because we value each other's time so much, and we value our free time so much.
Love it.
And it's just one of those things where we have a lot of animals, and that is a lot of responsibility on its own.
That's time too.
But there's just without it having any other way to say it, I've just always gravitated towards animals and not kids. I mean, it's just one of those things. And and I have a godchild, Grayson. He's my nephew. Hope and Sagonix kid.
The Sagonix.
Yeah, which Grayson, he's actually not Sagonix, but he's my nephew and my godchild, and I would gladly take him if anything ever happened. But it's one of those things where I know Hope might see this, but it's one of those things where if she were to drop him off at our house to babysit or whatever, 2 hours tops. You can take him back now. You know what I
mean? I love him. Just get him out of here.
Yeah.
Like, take care of him where you live.
I'm cool. I'm cool with being an aunt. I want to give him back. So
now to that, Hannah Pale is on here. She said, "What's up? Do you know Hannah Pale?"
I don't.
She's good. No, friend of mine. She's real good people, and that's I say that because when we ended up getting lucky, we got to go to the Bahamas for work. I've never been to the Bahamas ever.
Ooh,
I didn't want to take those kids. I love them kids.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to take them, and I didn't have the money to take them.
You do need a break sometimes. I understand.
The break is the thing. I work. I get a break. I wanted her to have a week with nothing like that. So Hannah and Kevin stayed here at our house and watched our babies with their baby. And I don't know how they did it. The youngest one hated her because Hannah breastfeeds now, her baby. And so Kenna's just like,
it's like, what the heck?
Give me some of that too. Like, no, it's not for you, buddy.
Yeah.
And she cried the whole time. She hated that we were gone. It does make it would be much easier to have free time and mommy and daddy time. And by mommy and daddy time.
Yeah.
I mean, if we shut that door, there's a very real possibility in the dead heat of the moment. I mean, think of the most inopportune time for someone to knock or throw up on the floor or crap their pants. We're going to get it right then.
Yep.
And it's like, well, man, look, we just need a few minutes. They're like, you ain't got it.
Yeah.
And so
just get it when you can, man. Like, I understand.
Man, I'm trying all the time. It makes it so hard just because, like, she's got to go from wanting to be mom to, like, being sexy mom. And she's sexy all the time. She's beautiful. But it's hard to go, like, let me baby you and pet you to let's go get dirty. It's hard, man.
It's definitely, I can understand that that's a weird transition. And I'm
as dad, same transition. It's also hard to be like, man, I love you. And like, I'm trying to think in my head, like, I'm going to do business. Hook mama up. And then like my baby's gonna do it. Give me a hug, Dad. I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's like,
"Man,
oh
come on. I can't hug you right now because I'm feeling weird."
yeah, exactly.
So it does make it hard. I love them. I wouldn't trade them for nothing. I would like them to stay with Hannah Pale like once 2 weeks out of the
Yeah.
month or something.
yeah, once every blue moon, maybe.
So y'all got living
sure.
together. You've had a few jobs. We actually met you working at the jail
Yes,
together.
yes.
Do you want to touch base on that any? What was that like?
Sure, I'll touch base. So it
They
is
loved you there too. They were promoting you there too. At least what I saw.
Yes. And just in case anybody from the jail is watching this, hello. And I do think I was generally liked over there, and I liked generally everybody that I worked with.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
You were a breath of fresh air for me.
I hate that you weren't there very long.
I do not. I enjoyed talking to you and Big Dustin Bailey and
oh yeah.
Aside from that,
Oh.
and the older gentleman on the shift, the
Tim
and Tim. I enjoyed Tim and you and Big Dustin Bailey and Whitmire.
Oh yeah.
And other than that, I didn't have many good positive
And
experiences.
Tim Smith is one of my clients now.
Tim Smith is such a sweet man.
Yes.
He's quiet about it. He
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
trying to, pet you. He's
Oh
just
yeah.
polite to everyone he meets.
Oh, he is.
He has
He
the
is.
same attitude, whether you're in jail, not in jail, you're me, you're him. He's a polite guy. Keep going.
Now, as a sergeant, Tim, maybe don't be a sergeant. I'm just kidding. But no, I like that seems so random that I chose that kind of job, and I went through a very, very hardcore phase of wanting to go into law enforcement. I pretty much dropped the whole video editing thing, photography, cinematography thing. I just dropped it because I was like, there's no jobs. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, there's no jobs in that. I'm not going to make any money. And ever since I can remember, I've been obsessed with like true crime. I mean, that's like one of those things that I've always been interested in. And I bring this up but because I think it's kind of funny. I've never wanted kids, and I don't generally love them, but I've always been passionate about putting away chomos.
Yeah,
I've been passionate about that. I don't think we
should put them away. I think we should,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, for sure, firing squad. That's what I think too. But
no love lost there.
I've always been very, very passionate about bringing people to the light about sex trafficking and and how many kids are exposed to this kind of stuff every day. Like, look at your phone.
Yeah.
Like, look at the sex offender list in your area. It is insane the amount that you will find, and that's why it's there. So y'all need to definitely use that.
Pay attention.
But I wanted to be kind of like a child sex crime investigator. That's what I wanted to do.
Before you keep going, that's what my stepmother-in-law does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's cool. And she does that awesome. In Louisiana. That's what she does. It's very cool. Keep going.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And, I was very much a Criminal Minds geek too. And I wanted to know the mind of criminals, why they do certain things, kind of understand stuff like that. And it just kind of snowballed into this big obsession, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is calling me. Like, I want to be in this. At the time, you were talking about me, being in shape.
Jacked.
I was not.
You were pretty jacked.
but not at that moment when I was, when I had just graduated high school. About a year later, I had gained. People gain their freshman 15. I gained my freshman 70. I was very uncomfortable, not in shape, not eating right. I didn't really eat right in high school because I just worked out all the time, so I just didn't think anything about it, But I busted my ass to get in shape. I mean, I busted my ass, and because I wanted to pass those PTs, I wanted to pass all that stuff. I applied to all these police departments when I knew I was ready. I was probably 130 pounds, pure muscle. I was like really, I was very, very serious. And, I got denied at a couple places. One place, it was the Dalton Police Department.
You didn't know anybody.
I didn't know anybody.
That's such a weird thing for me. That, like, if you're in shape and ready to do the job, and prepared and prepped to do the job, just because you don't know someone,
Mhm.
like in politics in the
And these
area.
people are looking for women, and so
Yeah.
and you know, and
It's crazy.
there's nobody applying. Women are applying for those types of jobs. So I was very at first I was very confident, thinking that I could get a job like that, and I got denied. I got pretty far into the hiring process at Dalton Police Department. I did the polygraph and everything. I mean, they were very serious
That's
about,
cool.
and it was between me and this other guy. The other guy got it. And
his daddy was the guy's brother of the place or something. Yeah.
They ended up calling me and telling me that my background check wasn't good because of my dad's past crimes, which was very strange to me.
Incredibly strange.
I don't think, I haven't been in contact with him since I was 14.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things where it's like, okay. I honestly think it was an excuse for them to hire the other dude, because
that's a weird,
because his dad was like already in the police department or something. But anyway, I was very distraught. I didn't think anybody would hire me, and Mr. Whited at Northeast was kind of my advisor, and he was like, just apply to a jail, like start from the bottom, like sometimes you have to do that. And I didn't want to work in a jail. I wasn't interested in corrections. But he put in a good word for me with David Smith, and
how is David?
And I don't know. Hope you're doing well.
I hope he's good. He was always nice
David
to
Smith. And he was always nice to me too. I thought he was a great chief, but I went and interviewed with him, and he pretty much, he hired me on the spot.
That's awesome.
And I was just over the moon, but at the same time I was like, I don't know anything about working in a jail, but neither does anybody else when they hire them.
Don't.
And I didn't know that.
It wasn't insanely hard.
I didn't know that. At that point I was not confident, very quiet. I feigned a lot of my confidence at first, and I think that is what kind of helped me through it and helped me get the confidence that I needed.
That's cool.
And I will always say this, even though the jail was something that was only a 3-year period, and that seems like a long time considering I am young. It was not a waste of time. I will say that from now until forever. It was not a waste of time, because even though it's ended up being something that I didn't expand on, I didn't go anywhere in that field. I honestly think it's the sole reason why I'm as confident as I am today. Cool. And I can speak well today because of that.
You're very well spoken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just, before I couldn't get 2 words out. I probably on this podcast, I would be choked up.
That's cool.
And ever since, it's just really boosted my confidence. And I will say that to the end of time. I really believe that, even though, everybody's like, oh, that was such a waste of time. You put so much work into that. You got tased and sprayed and everything.
I'm young.
It's like,
have you ever been tased and sprayed? Like, no, I have an experience. You don't.
Yes, and I do use that as bragging rights. It's just brownie points at this point. But
I was so angry that day. I realized that they were like all inviting their friends to watch, and then like near the end of the taser video, taser video says you don't have to be tased to carry a taser. Yeah. That's not real.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Oh, well, y'all didn't see that," and I'm like, "No, I did see it." Like, and y'all are this is like a weird indoctrination cult ritual, and I ain't digging it, man. Y'all are gonna laugh at me while I get tased up. And then, go ahead. You said you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
I do. I will say there was a lot of stuff I feel like that went down there that it was more of like what you said, kind of like a cult ritual, kind of like weird thing to like invite you into the brotherhood. And kind of like hazing, I would say.
I'd say hazing.
Because when you look into it, I still have those the taser sheets that we got. I still have them to this day, and there's nothing on there that says that you have to be tased to carry.
It was an initiation hazing.
Which I will say, which you might not agree with, I actually do think that it is necessary, though.
I think we should know what we're doing.
I think we should know how, and you know what? I probably would have picked up that spray and sprayed somebody if I had never been sprayed. But since I did get sprayed,
I was like, I don't want to do that.
Oh my gosh, I would never do that to another person. Like,
no, it was
never.
Awful.
Not once did I take out that spray.
And some of them did. They was funny.
Oh my god.
Cool, man.
Oh no. it was cruel in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I agree.
Especially with, you know, a lot of the inmates that are stuck in like a
Yes.
cell with with water that isn't running
Yes.
or something. You know, it's just it's very you know.
I was cussing this old man, and like they brought old people around, older people, and I'm like, dude, y'all are about to be hurting. You know, y'all are gonna hear some crazy stuff.
Mhm.
And there's this old man trying to help me. He's like, look, man, just open your eyes. And I'm like, F you, don't talk to me, don't tell me what to do. And I seen on the video, not Sagonic, but Zito was there, and he looks at the old man, he goes, I got him. Because old man goes, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, stop touching me, stop talking to me, man.
Yeah, it hurts. Oh
yeah,
my
like,
God,
man,
it hurts.
y'all did this on purpose. I was so mad. I thought for sure they was gonna fire me. I knew they was gonna fire me, and I didn't. But it's, you know, it's whatever. But so after that, I don't know the whole journey to that, but you ended up opening your own business. Now we're getting to the meat of the stuff.
Oh yeah.
Hannah's Portable Pet Spa, correct?
Yes.
423-255-3178.
Yes.
How did that come about, man? How'd that happen?
And I'd like to say that is text only. So
text her to set up
an appointment or book. It's very, very, very random, kind of like the randomness of when I started at the jail. But essentially, I put in 3 years of my life into law enforcement and didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wasn't happy. I just knew I wasn't happy. I couldn't put my finger on why. I did develop anxiety. I will say that working at the jail, I definitely saw things that people should not see.
Sure.
You know, not saying that it was like super hardcore. I definitely was not on the road very much. I was on the reserves, so I did see some stuff on the road, but in the jail, I mean, there were some times where, you know, we encountered suicide.
I remember a few
you know, attempted suicide, you know, just overall really, really bad stuff. You know, I recall a time where I was rolling around on a shower floor with a lady 200 pounds heavier than me, trying to get her to eat cornbread. I mean, this is something like, you know, it's just something that a 21, 22-year-old is like, what am I doing?
Eat your darn cornbread.
Like, you know, and I'm telling these old people to eat their cornbread. I'm like, what am I doing?
Agreed.
But, you know, and I will say for the first year and a half or so, I enjoyed it very much. I did like the camaraderie. I don't really know how to say that, but like
camaraderie.
Yeah, I did like that, and I loved the people I worked with, most of them.
Same.
You know, I did enjoy like the brotherhood, I guess. And you know, I've always felt out of place younger, because I've always been way more I was more friends with guys than girls, so it was like more of an environment that I felt like I was more accepted with, especially with like my nerdiness and my, you know, and I do have kind of a sailor's mouth. I'm trying to like tone it back for this, but you know, and and so I didn't know what to do. I was in kind of like a rock and a hard place. I was like, I don't know. I'm not happy here, but I don't know what I want to do now. I just felt like I put so much time, and I didn't want to stay there. I had been promoted. You know, I was executive assistant to the chief, so I was very.
I remember that. That was awesome.
You know, I was, but it was a desk job. I was sitting all day, and it was cake. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was very, very cake, but it was just not something I liked.
At the desk, my back hurts.
Was getting
nothing's
fat.
going on. Good.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not busy at all.
And you know, we didn't have to clock out for break or anything.
I hope there's a fight in the back today, and they need backup, because like, man, my life is going so incredibly slow and boring, and this is not. I'm feeling the same way.
Yes.
Sometimes I understand.
Yes, and now I look back on that, and I'm like, you know, boring is fine.
Yes.
You know, like at that age though, I was looking for more excitement. You know, I loved the thrill of like not knowing what's going to happen.
Same.
I was, you know, obviously it was like nervousness at first when I first started there, but after a while, you know, I knew a lot of these people had my back. I knew that I had their back. It was one of those things where I was like, I kind of wanted something to happen sometimes, which is, it sounds bad, but I will remember. I remember this one specific time. I was at the desk. Nothing was going on. I was scrolling on my phone, and you know, like I had my phone propped up where the computer monitor is.
Easy money.
You know, like just scrolling on my phone, pretending that I'm like on the computer.
Yeah.
And it was when I don't think you were working here at that. Or there at that point, but a dude hung himself in the back, and the first call was from this guy in the back, and he called Central Control, which is like the control room. For people who don't know, it's like the control room that control all the cameras in the jail. And since they never bought repeaters for our radios, nobody could hear anything. So she ended up calling the front. Nobody answered. She called me, and of course, I was the first one to respond to it. So and this is a horrible situation, but I have to admit that in that moment, I was like, I'm so happy that something's actually going on.
Something is happening.
But I didn't know until I got there that it was that bad, you know? And that was kind of the turning point where I was like, this is like, you know, I just don't want to do this anymore.
This is not my vibe. I was excited that something was going on in a person's day.
Yeah. Like, and been dead for a minute, you know? And it was just awful seeing him being trying to get resuscitated. Obviously he was gone, and I was the first one there. So, you know, it was me and Jonathan Whitmire, which still works there. Love him to death.
I like Whitmire. He's always nice to me.
And he was doing chest compressions. I was helping and everything, and it was just something that I never wanted to see again, to be honest. And that, I think that was the turning point where I was like, I can't work here anymore. I just don't want to do it. I had developed anxiety that I didn't get diagnosed until later on. So I didn't know at the time, but I did develop a form of anxiety from there, just always being kind of on edge. And so I decided that I was going to quit, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I just started racking my brain. I was like, what am I interested in? Animals. That's the first thing that came into my mind. So I started applying vet offices, shelters, you know, none of these places make any money.
No.
And I was just like, I'll just get my foot in the door somewhere. At the time, my husband was doing heating and air, so he was making decent money. I had the freedom to kind of choose what I wanted to do, which I'm very blessed.
Hear that, Hunter?
Yes. He's not doing it anymore, but now I am the major breadwinner, but we'll get to that point.
Good. We take turns.
Yes. So I guess that's what you do in a marriage. You take turns. But essentially I was working, I got hired on at a vet office in Fort Payne. It was right down the road, literally on Jordan Road, the same road, and making $10 an hour. And they pretty much was just like, here you go, this is how you do this is how you do that, here, you need to give fluids. I'm like, I don't know anything about anything medical. Like my knowledge of medical came from the jail, and that was nothing.
And we shouldn't have been doing that.
No, we should not. Like,
take this medicine.
We shouldn't have even, you know, be doing people's blood pressure. Like, you know, that's the nurse's job.
I don't know anything about it.
Exactly.
The nurses don't do nothing. No offense. Not all of them. Some of them's good.
But the medical cart. Oh my God.
I hated it.
That just brought back memories.
I hated it.
And having to prick people sometimes. Anyway.
No, I wasn't touching that.
I was like, you do it yourself.
Yeah, I just tell it, look, man, I'm not touching it. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh yeah, just, you know, they're like, here's my sweaty side. Why don't you poke it? I'm like,
no, thank you.
But anyway, getting off track. I'm good at that.
No, it's good.
But I was working at this vet and I was just miserable. I loved working with the animals, hated the medical side. I saw a lot of dogs die. I saw a lot of euthanasias. I mean, assisted in a lot of euthanasias, and it was just not fun. So I started just looking for something else. Couldn't find anything. I was randomly at Pet Depot in Fort Payne, which is now called Pet Supplies Plus. And because that's where I got my dog food and my mice for my snake.
Yeah, insane snake.
So yeah. So that's just running free. Just kidding. It's not. But everybody thinks that for some reason. I'm like, it's in a it's in like a little enclosure. But anyway,
we pet it in the living room.
yeah. It's just there with the dogs and cats. But I was just in there, and the lady there knew me from working at the jail and being on the reserves. I had gone on some kind of detail one day that was over there, and she was like, so you're not working at the sheriff's office anymore? And I was like, no, you know, I'm working at a vet. And she was like, well, do you like it? Like, and I was like, no. I mean, I kind of lied. I was like, yeah, it's good. And she was like, well, if you're looking for a job, we have like, you know, just like a clerk job in there. And I was like, well, how much does it make? And she was like, $9 an hour. And I was like,
that's less than what I got.
I was like, that's less than what I'm making now. And she was like, Well, we also have a groomer spot open. And I was like, I don't know how to do any of that. You know, I can't even do my own hair. Like, let alone a dog's hair. I was like, mm-mm. And she was like, well, you start out as like a groomer assistant, like a bather, somebody that bathes the dogs and like blow dries them. And then,
So fun.
Yeah. I mean, all you do is just wash a dog and do the nails or whatever. And so I was like, well, okay, I'll try it. And she was like, well, great. I mean, you know, we just have to do a drug test. I was like, drug test me now, man. I'm good, you know? So she drug tested me then. And pretty much I had the job like in the next couple days. You know, I was a bather, and absolutely loved it. I made $10 an hour as a bather. So it's the same amount of money, but I liked it a lot more. And then they sent me to Grooming Academy. It was like 8 weeks, something like that, in Florence, Alabama. And it was just something that they provided, you know, cool. Which was awesome. And I ended up just loving it. Oh my gosh. Like, it was so nerve-wracking at first, just kind of having sharp objects near a dog, you know, and especially like dogs that move. I mean, almost all of them are moving targets.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that all of them are the same type of like good as Willie is, you know what I mean?
He's so
chill. Like, and I will say one thing about Willie. I will complain about one thing. He doesn't like to stand. He'll just sit.
Oh, he's
like,
lazy.
Yeah, so I have to be like, okay, like, get up. But yeah, and I did that for a while. They transferred me to the new Scottsboro location, so I was there for I don't know, a few months. Had been grooming for almost a year, and then I was just not liking the corporate takeover of this store. It was just, you know, it started out slow. Like, they were like, oh, we're not going to change much, which every corporation does that. Yeah. And they're like, but this is what we're going to change. And, you know, and I was okay with it at first.
Then, like, they're breathing down your neck finally. And so, dude, I'm just trying to do a job.
And then they're like, you have to push out this many dogs a day, or, you know, or you're not going to be making enough money for the company. And I was like, okay, I don't feel comfortable pushing out 8 dogs a day. I mean, that's like crazy to me. Like, I was comfortable doing 4 or 5, and it was like, they were like, no, you got to do 8, 9, 10. And I was like, these dogs are not comfortable doing this. And, and I wasn't a fan of the kennels. You know, we had to put them in kennels, which is, you know, that's a normal thing that most groom shops do. It's to keep them all, you know, all away from each other. And like, it's a way for them to get more done too. And I didn't like that. I tried to do my appointments by appointment. So essentially, like, I would, you know, I would like call somebody, and then when their dog was done, I would call them to come pick it up and then bring the next dog in, because I didn't like them sitting in the kennel all day. Then it got to a point where I was told I'm not supposed to feed them treats. And I was like, how am I supposed to encourage these puppies to like it? You know what I mean?
Cool, and this is good.
And then they're like, you gotta go faster. And I was not enjoying it anymore. I was already getting burnt out, and I was only a year in on the job. And I was like, I don't want to get burnt out. And this is when I'm going to, you know, praise you.
Oh, thanks. I didn't see that coming.
So essentially what had happened was you messaged me and was like, hey, is there any way that, like, do you have room for Willie? And I don't even remember how the conversation went, but I was like, I'm kind of booked until this date. And you were like, well, could you just come over here?
Yeah.
And I was like,
weird.
I never thought about that. No, I didn't even think it was weird. I just didn't think about it. And I was like, I guess.
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I was like, I guess I can. And so I did it. Didn't have a table or anything. I mean, we set him up right there with newspapers. And
that's
and
cool.
I was like, okay, so I just brought, you know, my tools in like a toolbox.
Yeah.
It was like just a random toolbox I found at home. Okay. And that's when Vicky was like, hey, I know a lot of people who would love this. Like, I mean, like, people would probably love this.
Vicky said that?
Yeah.
Vicky got that.
And I was like, I know. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, huh. So that's when I posted on Facebook. I was like, I'm going to start doing this on my days off, Sundays and Mondays. Okay. And didn't think anything would come up. I got flooded with messages. I mean, it was like, so cool. I was like, it got to a point where I was booked out weeks and weeks and weeks, and I could only do 2 days a week. So I couldn't fit in all these people. And I was like, what am I doing?
I'm giving them all the money.
Yeah, and I'm gonna and all the money's coming to me. Like it wasn't like I was getting, I was making hourly at the pet store.
Yes.
So no matter how long oh yeah, you're good. You're good. No matter how long I spent on a dog, how much I put in effort on a dog over there, I was still making the same amount of money, flat rate, and I didn't like that. And we had to share tips too, and I was like, and then I kind of got this, what do you call it, dopamine high, I guess, from being like, when I came here and y'all paid me $50 and it was all for me, and I was like, wow, so I started doing it on my days off. Didn't make it to 2 weeks before I quit. I just,
sorry about that.
No, like, you're good. I ended up telling my grooming manager, I was like, listen, I can't do this anymore. I'm just gonna, and I just up and quit. And that's
Sam's
not,
a sneaky genius.
it's not the honorable way to do it. It was not the honorable way, but I didn't put in 2 weeks. I just said, I'm not coming back.
If you had died, they would have replaced you the next day.
Exactly. And they did. They did replace. They did replace me. And I knew, I knew they were going to. And it was so scary to jump in like this. But I still didn't have a table or anything. Dude. And I was just like, let's go. So I changed, on Facebook. It was just Hannah Weathers Grooming. Yeah. And I had already had a Facebook. I had already had a Facebook following a little bit from, I had made Facebook for my grooms at the store. So, cause they gave me permission.
That's cool.
So I was like, oh, I'll just show off my grooms on Facebook and people can like contact me and then they can book through the company's booking or whatever. And so I already had maybe like 100 or so followers on Facebook, and I made a big update, changed the name, and Hannah's Portable Pet Spa. I don't even know how that came up. I just I was like, I'm gonna put my name in it, and then portable, because I was like, I can pack it up.
It's a good name.
And I was like,
there's a lot in a name. People don't get it.
I know. And it just it was catchy. So I just stuck with it, and it just grew and grew. And I mean, I could not have imagined it to be this successful. I got invited to McCamey Animal Center in Chattanooga. They do this gala every year. Kind of like high-end, high society folks. And they did this live auction, and they contacted me and wanted me to donate a groom to go along with their photography thing. Essentially they were going to get somebody to groom somebody's dog and then take pictures of them for Christmas cards.
Very cool.
So they contacted me because I was like really fast growing in the Chattanooga area. So they were like, hey, would you be willing to donate a groom to the winner of this item at the auction? And I was like, yeah,
please.
So they invited me, gave me a free ticket. I had to spend money on Hunter's ticket, but it was a very expensive, like very high end. You have to be in like evening dress attire. Yes, nice, man. Very, very out of my comfort zone. Because I'm a t-shirt girly. I mean, I don't wear dresses or anything. But I put on the red lip and the dress and everything, and we went, and it was so nice. It was kind of like the people there weren't kind of my people. It was more very, I guess, rich folk.
People you aren't used to being
around. Yes.
And I'm listening.
Yeah, so they put my item on the screen. I also made like a little ad for their pamphlet, so people who were looking through the pamphlets at dinner could see it. Like, it was like a whole page. So so I had an ad in there, and then they put on the screen, the auction started going on, and then they put my item on the screen, which was the donated groom mixed with the photography session. And somebody donated $5,000 for that. Like,
awesome.
So I was like over the moon. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody paid that much for that. Stuff. It's like crazy.
Okay. People like it.
So so from there, I still haven't met this person. They're gonna contact me when it gets closer to Christmas
No,
time.
this is new.
So
this is this year.
Yeah, this
that
year.
is so
This
cool,
year.
man.
Yeah, to clarify, I started this business in February. So, and now, I'm at the point where I can't take many new clients anymore.
That's awesome. And we're one of the originals. We're
yes,
there,
y'all are the
one.
OG.
Our
like-
dog's looking sharp all the time. Willie's handsome as mess when she leaves. We can always tell, man, when he needs. And again, like, she's not kidding. She does stay incredibly booked up. You've got the phone number. Send her a text. She'll make your dogs look and feel so good. Anytime that it's time for Willie to get a haircut, and we've got you, I think. We're planned out now, like all the time. It's
oh yeah,
so
it's like y'all are planned out indefinitely.
Yeah,
really,
and that's awesome.
So
because like we can tell when his stuff gets real shaggy, man, he gets down. He's a little older anyway.
Oh yeah.
But once he starts looking rough, he kind of drops, man. He comes out, he's just sad. And then once a haircut happens, man, he got the scarf on. He'll be jumping around. He feels handsome, dude. He feels good.
Oh, I know, and he feels lighter. I'm sure.
Yes, it makes us feel so happy that he's happy.
Yeah.
We really do love the work you do.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy that you're getting to do something that you love doing. And you're making money and anything to where you're not having to give money to someone else.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh
Man.
yeah.
And it's not all about the money for you. I know
for
you're
sure.
getting to feel good working, and I think that's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What's Hunter thought about all of it? What's he think?
Oh, he's over the moon that I'm no longer in harm's way.
I dig it.
But at the same time, it is. I do go to people's houses by myself. So, in the Chattanooga areas and stuff,
You're doing Alabama and Chattanooga, Tennessee?
I am. Most of my clientele actually is in the Chattanooga area just because it worked out that way.
Yeah.
It just got the most
Chattanooga's
traction.
huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Mac Gala brought in so many Chattanoogans to it.
So
and
cool.
so I have like a few out this way, and then most of them are out that way. And I just travel, within an hour radius from me.
So many people in Chattanooga. It's constant. It's growing.
Oh,
There's so
yeah.
much stuff. So yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
can see that. Keep going. I'm listening.
But Hunter, he's I know he's at the time when I was working at the jail, he didn't really express that he was worried about me or anything, but he did kind of admit to me recently that he was like, I was worried about you all the time, but I didn't tell you. And I know he's grateful that I'm doing something that is not as risky, I guess. And he is loving that I am making way more money than I used to be.
Yeah.
Hunter, he, unfortunately he had to close the doors to his heating and air business a year or two back. And he's kind of had odd jobs since then.
Yeah.
And now he's working as a cook next to our house. It's like this really cute little like country restaurant.
Cool.
And he's always wanted to cook. So
that's cool. So
he doesn't make a ton of money, but it doesn't matter because he loves it and I love what I do.
Yeah.
And so, we've done pretty well for ourselves now. We're doing well now.
I don't think there's anything wrong with taking turns at all. Now I love my wife, and I don't think for a second I need more money. I have a wife. I have 4 kids. I need more money. It's always more money.
Mhm.
I used to. It got to the point where my kid Connor, she would say, "We need the money." And so, like, I try not to really talk about money around them. It's more as a dad. I want.
You don't want him to think that's like the main. Like the
and so now she'll go,
main goal.
"We need the Jesus."
Oh,
She'll say it. We need the Jesus. Don't look at me like that. And she'll say that, and so like I'm so much happier that's what she's saying. But me as a person, I do need the money. Now, if Vicky was to decide tomorrow, hey, I would like to work instead, and I could work it out to where she could have my job, because I don't worry about her at my job, and it pays pretty good and things like that.
Oh yeah.
I would be totally okay with her going and doing that for a while, and then but also I just don't believe for like one singular second that I could sit with my kids all single. It would have to be like a boot camp kind of situation.
Oh yeah,
like, dude, I'm gonna lock it down, man. Sit down and shut up. Let's get up and clean. Mommy's home.
Yep.
It would have to be really locked down to where I would do that. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's really cool to know you. Again, I've told Vicky this, and I'll tell anyone that asks. When I worked at the jail, the shift that I was on, it just wasn't really ever going to be set up to where I was going to be a cool guy in that room. The shift I had, and I know y'all started hearing some things about me, like I was a tool bag or something similar. And me and you had a conversation out back, and you were the first person that was just nice to me there, polite to me. And I
Well, I
appreciate
didn't
that.
know you until
No,
then,
and-
so why wouldn't I be?
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
Just the fact that you took the time to do it, and then I think since that moment we've been pretty cool.
Oh,
We're like,
yeah.
what up, dog? Like,
Yeah.
what's up, dog? And
Yeah.
it's been really good. The fact that we got to play the teeniest, tiniest, hey, please cut my dog's hair. Please come cut my dog's hair. And now you have a business to where your life is better, your money is better. Shoot, man, I think it's awesome.
Listen, I give the credit to you. I really do.
That's the sweetest
Like,
thing. Don't do it because my head gets huge. No, it's so cool. I'm so proud of you, and that's just awesome. So if someone wants to book you, tell us again how to do it and what areas you work at.
Okay, so I book on Facebook, or y'all can send me an email as well. It's Hannah's Portable Pet Spot gmail.com, as well as the number on the screen. Text only. Please don't call me. Please don't call me. That is my personal phone. But yeah, y'all can go through any of those ways. I do have limited spots this year.
That's so awesome.
So if y'all want to get on the books, let me know in advance, because I can't guarantee I'll get them in till October.
Your dogs will feel so much better. They're not going to be trapped up in a kennel. She'll come to you at your house. It's really so convenient for us. We have 2 dogs. We only have one that ever needs a haircut, and that's Willie. It's so convenient not to have to take a 15-pound dog up the road and then go pick him up later. It's
I know, yeah.
Incredibly convenient. He smells good when she leaves. It's awesome. Again, let's make sure we got the number right. Hannah's Portable Pet Spa on Facebook is what it's called.
Yes.
If you want to text her to book your appointment, get your dog on the books, which she can plan every so many weeks, and it's awesome. 423-255-3178. And then if you prefer email, it's Hannah's Portable Pet Spa at gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Dude, y'all give her a shout. Hannah, do you think we got an hour or less? What do you think we did?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I just started talking. So
No, you did
It's-
great. Dude. You did great. We got more than an hour. We got like an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh,
I'm so proud
heck
of it.
yeah.
I hate to even stop, but we'll do it again because some people get on here and they're like, dude, I'm gonna talk so much. Some people don't talk, man.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I think
you.
at some point we'll come out and we'll do some more stuff and try to keep advertising for you because I'm
Oh,
proud
thank
of you. I
you.
think it's awesome. We're gonna hop off here. Thanks for tuning in. Like
Yeah.
and share it. You know more people than I do, so you share it around.
Oh, of course.
Heck
Yes,
yeah,
I
man.
will.
Well, guys, we're gonna cut it off. Y'all have a nice day. Thank you so
All right.
much for the time, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So cool. So cool. Dude, I'm so